Hello guys, welcome back to Learning with Isha. Today onwards, we start talking about growth and development in plants. Let's begin discussing what is growth in general. See, growth is a very complex process. It's a sum total of many metabolic reactions, both catabolic and anabolic. Catabolic reactions lead to the breakdown of molecules. Anabolism leads to the synthesis of molecules. They act together and cause the growth of an organism. It is very difficult to define growth and no complete definition has been given till date. However, a great attempt could be that it is an irreversible, permanent increase in the size of an organ, part, or cell of an organism. So, whatever we are talking about should irreversibly increase in size. Now, if I have grown to a particular height, I am not going to shrink back and become a baby. So, growth is an irreversible process. Now, I have a question for you. What would you call the increase in size of wood? Well, the increase in size of wood is not growth for several reasons. Number one, that it has just absorbed water. घर की लकड़ियां दरवाजे से फूल जाते हैं पानी absorb करके. जैसे ही बारिश का मौसम खत्म होता है, they go back to their original size. So first of all, it's not permanent, it's just a temporary increase. Second and most important fact is that wood is not living and only living organisms are capable of growing. So, living organisms is a very important precondition for growth. Now, if we talk about growth in plants, it is due to a specific type of cells known as meristematic cells. Plant tissues are basically of two types, meristematic tissues and the permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues are those cells in the plant that are capable of dividing. So they divide and add new cells to the plant body. Permanent tissues, on the other hand, have cells that have been derived from the meristematic tissue. They have taken up a specific role and lost their ability to divide. An example would be xylem and phloem. Xylem carries water in the plant. So, cells of the xylem are derived from the meristematic tissue but have lost the ability to divide. Our focus here will be on the meristematic tissues as these are the ones that are going to add new cells to the plant and bring about growth. Meristematic tissues are of three types: apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. While apical meristem is found at the root and shoot apex, thus the name, tip of the root and shoot. So this is going to increase the length of the plant, the shoot and the root. The second type of meristem, the lateral meristem, is going to increase the girth, as in the width of the plant. The third meristem, known as the intercalary meristem, is present at the nodes and internodes. So new leaves and branches are going to arise out of here. Now let's come back to growth and look at the types of growth in plants. Two types of growth are observed in plant: primary growth and secondary growth. Primary growth causes an increase in the length or the height of the plant. Now here, if I have cells present at the tip of the shoot and root and they divide, they are going to increase the length of the plant. We have already seen this function is performed by the apical meristem. So, primary growth is caused by the apical meristem. Secondary growth leads to an increase in the girth or the width of the plant. Now that is done, as we already know, by the lateral meristem. This is specifically seen in gymnosperms and dicots, where we have cambiums, vascular cambium and cork cambium. They appear later in the life of the plant, add new cells and cause the plant to gain width. Growth in plants is also known as open form of growth. Open growth is a phenomena where the organism continues to divide throughout its life. What happens in plants is that we have meristematic tissues that continuously divide and add new cells to the plant body. So the plant is growing throughout its life. This is an open growth. This growth is also termed as indeterminate growth. It is called indeterminate. Why? Because the meristematic tissues will keep adding new cells to the plant body. So the growth is not restricted, it is indeterminate. Now let's move ahead and look at the conditions that are required for growth in plants. I've listed down the factors affecting growth in plants. Let's look at them one by one. Let's begin with water. Water is the basis of life. But besides that, water is required in plants for several reasons. Most important is a cell that will absorb water will become turgid. A turgid cell would have pressure of water exerting on its cell walls. As a result, it will cause the cell to expand. The cell is going to expand or elongate in size. This elongation of cells is going to increase the size or the height or the width of the plant. So this is going to cause a growth in the plant. Now basically the cells have a vacuole. These vacuoles store water and lead to elongation of the cell. The second function is water is an important raw material for photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which plants make their own food. This requires raw materials like carbon dioxide and water. The third function is water also serves as a medium in which all the enzymatic activities that are required for the metabolism of the plant take place. The second factor is oxygen. Oxygen is required for the process of respiration. Now, respiration is a process by which whatever carbohydrates has been produced in the photosynthesis process is going to be broken down and it will cause the release of energy. So, this oxygen is required to release energy in the living plants. Now, the next factor is nutrients. Now, nutrients include both micronutrients and macronutrients. Micro means small. So naturally, they are the nutrients required by the plant in a very small amount. Example, iron, manganese, molybdenum. They serve as important cofactors for enzymes. Macronutrients like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen serve as important structural elements of the plant. If I want to build amino acids, proteins, nucleic acids, for everything I'm going to require both macro and micronutrients. The next factor is temperature. Plants would grow in an optimum temperature, what is ideal for them. As we increase the temperature up to an optimum temperature, the plants continue to grow at a faster rate, beyond which they do not grow. Why is that? Well, all the enzymes work at an optimum temperature. Beyond that temperature, the enzymes, which are normally proteins, would get denatured and the plant is going to eventually die. So it's a heat shock basically. Another factor is sunlight. Now, sunlight, as we know, is very important for photosynthesis to take place. So, in this video, we spoke about plant growth and the factors affecting plant growth. In the next video, we are going to talk about how can we measure growth in plants. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel. Please press the bell icon to be updated about the new content that I post.